Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to unbox a massive update for Mongil Star Dive. Honestly, this update made me sit down and take notes on everything because there's just so much happening at the same time. From new events, new game modes, all the way to a completely new character named Narae, I think will become the center of community discussion in the coming weeks. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. First, I want to quickly talk about the events and game modes that are all running alongside each other in this update, because skipping any of them would honestly be a huge waste. The first one is the new mode called Cryptid Conquest, Reginula. Basically, this is a boss battle mode where you farm tokens and use those tokens to buy items from the event shop, similar to Conquest or Rift. I already tried it out and I noticed that the shop this time has a lot of valuable rewards. So if you've been ignoring it, I really recommend not doing that. Try your best to push for the highest score possible against the boss. The second thing is the 14-day check-in mission chain. This one is simple but extremely important because on the third day, the game gives you a free character named Ophelia. And Ophelia is not just some average character. She's actually a very strong ice DPS, and she synergizes incredibly well with Narae, who we're about to talk about next. I'm honestly impressed by how generous this is. The game straight up gives you a high quality DPS after only 3 days of logging in. So no matter how busy you are, make sure to open the game every day so you don't miss Ophelia and the rest of the rewards from this 14-day event. The third one is Fox Maiden Narae's 7-day gift. This one doesn't need much explanation. Just log in and claim the rewards every day. Everything in this 7-day gift event has value, so don't skip it. Next is the event called Small Divine Maiden's Training Log, and this is honestly the most interesting mini event for me in this update. There's a new mini game called Narae Link Rush. Basically, you need to tap as quickly and accurately as possible following the rhythm in order to achieve the highest score you can. Higher scores let you collect more butterflies, which you can then use to buy items from the event shop. I played it a few times already, and it actually feels pretty fun. The important thing is that you should try to reach every reward milestone in each level instead of just casually clearing it once and moving on. For the remaining parts of the event, I don't think there's much else to explain because it's not too difficult. The main thing is that if you're a new player, try to increase your team's power first before fighting the monsters in this event. And you should wait until you fully clear all 3 modes before using your keys to sweep for butterflies. And finally, for the events section, we have Special Mission with Narae. This is basically an exploration-style mission event where you need to defeat 150 monsters in order to claim 2 reward milestones. It sounds like a lot, but honestly, if you play normally, you'll complete it naturally over time. There's also a mission that requires you to complete requests 50 times, which basically means doing daily quests in F4 every day. You get 5 attempts per day, so it takes around 10 days to finish. Clearing Conquest 30 times is also manageable because you get 3 free attempts daily, so that should also take around 10 days. The event lasts for 21 days, so both of those objectives are completely fine. The slightly harder part is the Rift mission, specifically Rift 8. If you're a new player or your team isn't strong enough yet, this one might be difficult, but honestly, with 21 days to work on it, I think it's totally achievable. Just keep building your team little by little and keep trying again. You'll eventually clear it. Now we've reached the main part that I know everyone has been waiting for, a complete breakdown of Narae and the eternal question, should you pull or skip? First of all, to understand who Narae really is, I need to clearly explain her role. Narae is an ice support sub-DPS with a ranged playstyle. And honestly, the moment I looked at her kit, I could immediately tell that this is one of the most well-designed and layered support characters I've seen in this game so far. Let's start with her basic attack called Dew Jade Barrage. Narae fires bubbles that deal ice damage. Sounds simple at first, but when enhanced by her passive buff, the first and second attacks additionally launch butterflies toward enemies, dealing extra ice damage and stacking Ice Affliction. Meanwhile, the third attack gets completely transformed. She pulls all nearby enemies together before firing a giant bubble that deals ice damage while triggering Ice Affliction and Freeze. This enemy pulling mechanic is extremely useful in stages filled with mobs. Her switch skill is called Prison of Dew. When you swap Narae onto the field, she releases a wave forward that deals ice damage and knocks enemies back. It's a simple but effective switch skill. Solid damage combined with crowd control. Her special skill, Dew Blankets All, is where the true core of Narae's design starts to appear. She spreads water energy around the battlefield and grants the Dew status to all allies. The buff effects are very straightforward. Ice allies gain increased ice damage and increased special skill damage. Non-ice ranged allies also receive increased special skill damage. On top of that, the Dew status creates shields for allies, and the HP of those shields scales directly with Narae's ATK stat. That means the more ATK you build on Narae, the thicker the shields become. This is an extremely smart design because it simultaneously boosts team damage and improves survivability. Her ultimate, Bubble Spout, summons a massive water bubble in the sky before creating a continuous rainfall that deals ice damage and applies Ice Affliction. But the more interesting part is that this rain constantly generates butterflies that automatically fly toward enemies, dealing additional ice damage and stacking even more Ice Affliction. Visually, this skill looks beautiful. Mechanically, it provides stable, sustained damage while continuously supporting Ice Affliction for the entire team. And finally, we have her passive, Blessings of the Morning Dew, which is honestly the part I love most about Narae. Whenever Narae grants herself a shield, her ATK increases significantly. While this buff is active, her basic attacks become enhanced. But more importantly, when you switch to another character, Narae does not immediately disappear from the field. Instead, she stays behind and continues attacking automatically for 8 seconds. This is exactly the kind of off-field support mechanic that many games in this genre try to achieve, and Narae executes it in a very natural and seamless way within her kit. Now let's move on to Narae's awakening system and which tiers you should aim for. Tier 1 is called the Shrine of Nine Fates Baby Fox. Whenever any ally applies Ice Affliction to an enemy, Narae additionally reduces the target's Ice Rest by 15% for 5 seconds. On top of that, her ultimate becomes enhanced with additional wave attacks, and the final hit deals an extra 50% base ice damage. Tier 1 is extremely valuable, especially if you are running an ice team. Tier 2 is called Calm Currents. Whenever Narae receives a shield, the entire team gains 22% ATK for 20 seconds. At the same time, all buffs from her special skill and passive are extended by 6 seconds. Additionally, while Narae is under the Dew effect, butterflies created by allies also deal additional ice damage based on Narae's special skill damage. Tier 2 is a massive jump in team support value because a 22% ATK boost for the whole team is a very significant number. Tier 3 is more straightforward. It increases all skill levels by 2 and increases ultimate damage by 6%. Tier 4 is called Scattering Morning Dew, and this is the tier I rate incredibly highly. The ice damage buff for ice allies increases from 50% to 90%, while the special skill damage buff increases from 30% to 60%. For non-ice ranged allies, the special skill damage buff goes all the way up to 150%. Meanwhile, shield HP becomes 200% stronger based on Narae's ATK. If you are running a ranged DPS team, Tier 4 is almost mandatory if you want to fully unlock Narae's potential. Tier 5 is once again a simpler upgrade. 2 additional skill levels, and a 4.5% cooldown reduction for her special skill. Tier 6 is called Tied Against Fate. When using her special skill, Narae summons a clone that automatically launches butterflies at enemies, dealing ice damage equal to 80% of her special skill damage. At the same time, she releases water energy butterflies that deal 200% special skill damage and apply freeze for 3 seconds. Tier 6 transforms Narae into an incredibly terrifying control and damage machine, but reaching this point requires a huge amount of resources. So overall, regarding Awakening investment, I think the minimum comfortable stopping point for Narae is Tier 1 or Tier 2. If you can reach Tier 4, she truly explodes in power within ranged DPS teams. As for Tier 6, that really depends on your personal resources and budget. Now let's talk about her signature artifact. Narae has a signature artifact called Plains Embroidering Dew, and it is designed completely around the support role that she fills. When equipped, every time Narae creates a shield for an ally, that ally gains an additional 12% basic attack damage for 14 seconds. If that ally is an ice character, they additionally receive another 20% basic attack damage and 25% crit damage. Once upgraded to Fusion level 3, it also grants additional ice damage boost based on support proficiency up to a maximum of 15%. At Fusion level 5, it further grants an ATK boost scaling from that same stat. Honestly, this artifact feels like it was born specifically for Narae because it perfectly optimizes everything she already does naturally in her kit. So now we arrive at the final question: pull or skip Narae? I'll say it directly. If you are currently building or planning to build an ice team or a ranged DPS team, then Narae is absolutely one of the highest priority support characters you should consider right now. Her kit is extremely complete. She provides shields, buffs damage, has off-field mechanics, and continuously supports Ice Affliction at the same time. What makes this even more valuable is the fact that the game is currently giving Ophelia away for free through the 14-day check-in event. That means you already have access to an incredibly promising ice duo without needing to spend too many resources. Personally, I decided to pull for Narae this time because I want to build a stronger ice team. And with Ophelia being completely free, this honestly feels like the perfect timing to invest. The game is being extremely generous to players during this update. Now, if you are mainly focusing on teams that are neither ice nor ranged, then Narae can still be useful, but her overall potential drops quite a bit. In that situation, you can reasonably consider skipping her and waiting for a character that better fits your current roster. Before ending the video, I also want to mention one more thing. After many days of waiting, the game has finally released a brand new story chapter. I haven't had enough time to fully explore it yet because this update contains an overwhelming amount of content, but I'm definitely jumping straight into the story right after finishing this video. Stardive currently has a huge amount of quality content, and honestly, if you still haven't tried the game yet, you're really missing out. So that wraps up everything in this update. From all the ongoing events to the complete breakdown of Narae and my advice on whether you should pull or skip. If this video helped you, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss future analysis videos. I'll continue following the game closely and keep updating you guys as quickly as possible. See you again in the next video.